Sir Elton John and tennis legend Billie Jean King share one of the most remarkable friendships in modern cultural history, rooted not just in mutual admiration, but also in lived experience. Their bond, spanning decades, has been shaped by shared struggles, personal revelations, and a frank acknowledgement of what it meant to be openly gay at different points in the 20th century. Recently, Elton John reflected on this friendship and offered a striking perspective that, in many ways, it was much harder to be gay as a public figure for Billie Jean King than it ever was for him. This comment sheds light on the contrasting pressures they faced as gay icons in two very different worlds, professional sports and the entertainment industry, and highlights their courage in navigating life with authenticity in times when doing so came with significant personal cost. The story of how Elton John and Billie Jean King first met is almost cinematic. In the early 1970s, at a party in Los Angeles, two shy young people were nudged together by a mutual acquaintance named Tony. Elton, already making waves in music, and Billie Jean, dominating the world of tennis, found themselves hesitant to approach one another. Elton recalled telling the person who introduced him that he was too shy, only for Billie Jean to admit she felt the same way. It was this vulnerability that sparked a connection so immediate and genuine that they ended up talking until the early hours of the morning. That night marked the beginning of a lifelong connection that went far beyond celebrity. At the heart of their friendship were conversations about things they rarely spoke about publicly at the time, especially their experiences with being gay. In the early 1970s, being gay was still deeply stigmatized, and coming out publicly could have severe professional and personal repercussions. Both Elton and Billie Jean, despite their immense talent and success, had their own battles with identity, secrecy, and the pervasive social norms that sought to confine them. What makes Elton's recent comments so compelling is the contrast he draws between their experiences of coming out and living openly as gay men and women. Elton John acknowledged that, for him, being gay within the entertainment world was comparatively easier than it was for Billie Jean King in the world of sports. In show business, there was somewhat more acceptance, and for artists like Elton, being gay was often an open secret that did not end a career. In many circles of the music industry, talent and creativity often overshadowed private lives, and while prejudice certainly existed, his sexuality did not prevent him from performing on global stages and achieving superstardom. Billie Jean King's experience, however, was quite different. As a household name in sports, she was subject to a level of public scrutiny that put her personal life under a microscope in ways most entertainers of her era did not experience. Long before she publicly came out, she had to navigate a professional world where there was little room for openness about sexuality without risking backlash, loss of sponsorships, or damage to her legacy. She was a champion, not just on the tennis court, but also in pushing boundaries regarding gender equality and social norms, and doing so at a time when such conversations were still considered taboo in many parts of the world. Beyond discussing sexuality, Elton and Billie Jean also bonded over another deeply personal struggle: food addiction. They were candid about how difficult it can be to manage one's relationship with food, especially when addiction and societal pressures collide. They acknowledge that such struggles take a toll and recognize that life in the public adds another layer of complexity to personal health and emotional stability. Their friendship was not only grounded in shared difficulties, but also enriched by moments of joy, collaboration, and lasting support. When Elton John played for the World Team Tennis franchise Philadelphia Freedoms, Billie Jean King was at the center of that team, and Elton became a dedicated supporter. Their joyful rapport led Elton to compose the song Philadelphia Freedom in her honor, a song that would go on to become one of his most iconic hits. Billie Jean's reaction to the song exemplified their unique bond. She loved it from the moment she heard it, appreciating not just its melody, but the heartfelt intent behind it. Over the years, they continued to support one another, attending events, sharing laughter, and reminding the world that friendship and solidarity can transcend professional spheres and societal barriers. Their relationship is not just a testament to personal resilience, but also a powerful example of how two individuals can find deep connection and mutual respect in the face of adversity. Elton's remark about the difference in their experiences of being gay reflects not only empathy, but also a recognition of the unique struggles Billie Jean faced, a spotlight that was often harsher and less forgiving in the sports world than in the entertainment industry. Looking back, It's clear that both Elton John and Billie Jean King played unique roles in advancing LGBTQ plus visibility, even when the world was far less accepting. Billie Jean's courage helped pave the way for countless athletes who came after her, demonstrating that success in sports need not be contingent upon hiding one's identity. Elton's openness and honesty about his own life helped carve out space for LGBTQ plus artists in mainstream culture, influencing generations of musicians and fans alike. Their story also demonstrates how the challenges of coming out and living openly are deeply personal and shaped by the context of one's profession and public role. For many years, artists like Elton navigated their sexuality with relative freedom within their industries, while athletes like Billie Jean King confronted a sports world that was often slower to embrace inclusion. Yet despite these differences, their shared experiences formed a bridge between worlds, one that allowed them to support one another in authentic and deeply meaningful ways. In recent years, their contributions to LGBTQ plus rights and social awareness have only become more recognized and appreciated. Documentaries and retrospectives on their lives continue to highlight not just their talents, but the emotional journeys they undertook. Their willingness to speak openly about personal struggles, from sexuality to addiction to the pressures of fame, resonates with audiences today who continue to grapple with similar issues in a world that still isn't completely free of judgment or prejudice. Ultimately, Elton John and Billie Jean King are living examples of how friendship, resilience, and courage can thrive in the face of adversity. Their bond illuminates the complexities of being gay in public life, showing that even icons who appear larger than life have faced deep and difficult challenges. By acknowledging that being gay was much harder for Billie Jean than it was for him, Elton not only honors her bravery, but also reminds us that visibility and acceptance are shaped by many factors, including the field in which one works, the era in which one lives, and the courage to be oneself in front of the world.